From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fairbanks Evening News.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. Our top story, a Fairbanks woman accused of shooting her cousin on Christmas Eve has been indicted by a grand jury.
That's right. 25-year-old Emily Clark faces 6 charges, including first and second-degree murder. Clark is also charged with manslaughter and felony assault. Police say Clark shot 33-year-old Janelle Clark with a .44 caliber pistol at her 26th Avenue apartment. Emily reportedly told authorities she shot her cousin after being asked to get out of the apartment. Bail for Emily was set at $500,000. She's scheduled to be arraigned in Fairbanks Superior Court tomorrow afternoon.
A grand jury has indicted 3 Fairbanks men after an alleged armed robbery and home invasion. Devon Creighton, Jamal Mabins, and Michael Reynolds face charges of first-degree robbery, theft, and misconduct involving weapons. Court documents say the men forced their way into a Marianne Street residence with guns and robbed a female victim and other occupants of thousands of dollars and an iPhone 6. Witnesses said the men wore bandanas to cover their faces and pointed their guns at all of the occupants of the home. Police were able to find the stolen iPhone at Reynolds' apartment. However, he claimed he was only the getaway driver. The 3 will be arraigned in Fairbanks Superior Court.
A North Pole man will serve just over 4 years jail time for an armed standoff with authorities in 2013. 28-year-old Ryan Sparks pleaded guilty this afternoon to reduce charges of assault on 2 police officers and 2 civilians as part of a plea deal with the state. Sparks shot at Alaska State troopers when they responded to a report of screaming from inside a residence. Now it took several hours and mutual aid from Fairbanks Police, North Pole Police, and the emergency reaction team to get Sparks to surrender without injury. Today, victims spoke in court about the plea deal, one going so far as to claim it was a setup. Sparks' attorney attempted to seal evidence regarding the reduced sentence, but Superior Court Judge Paul Lyle declined.
That he has assisted authorities after the offense to detect, apprehend, or prosecute other persons who have committed an offense. So that justifies the reduction of the sentence.
And I'm glad none of us got hurt that night. I apologize to you, Leo, and Crystal and Christy, and to the North Pole Police Department for my actions. And Leo, the police had nothing to do with this. This was me.
The Fairbanks City Council meets tonight at 7 p.m. in chambers at 800 Cushman Street. A public hearing will be held on an ordinance ratifying a labor agreement between the City of Fairbanks and the AFL-CIO Joint Crafts Council. Under terms of the proposed contract, union members will receive a 2.5% increase to the 2014 package rate. The council is expected to meet in executive session to discuss negotiations with the PSEA as well as the IBEW. Also to be discussed is the case of City Mayor John Eberhardt versus APOC and a Superior Court appeal to discuss settlement. Additionally, members will consider a resolution allocating discretionary funds from the hotel-motel tax in the amount of $270,000.
Senator-elect Dan Sullivan will be sworn into office tomorrow at 8 a.m. Alaska time on the floor of the U.S. Senate. After being sworn in there, Sullivan will participate in the ceremonial swearing-in with Vice President Joe Biden in the Old Senate Chamber. That event is scheduled for 10:30 a.m. Alaska time. Sullivan, who is a Republican, defeated incumbent Democrat Mark Begich in the November general election.
2 Huslia men are in custody after authorities say they beat another male victim so badly he was medevaced to Anchorage. 27-year-old Aaron Kozevnikov and 28-year-old Floyd Vent Jr. face felony assault charges from the January 1st beating. Court documents say the 2 attacked Arthur Roberts outside of the tribal hall during a New Year's celebration. The alleged victim was able to escape the initial beating but returned with a gun. Witnesses say people at the party took the gun from Roberts and Kozevnikov, and Vent continued to kick and stomp him. Roberts was flown to Fairbanks and then medevaced to Anchorage for treatment of facial fractures and other injuries from the attack.
All right, when we come back, firefighting students at UAF received national recognition for their Alaskan wildfire skills.
Also, it's time again for Alaskan teachers to have the spotlight for their successes. Those stories are next. Stay with us.
Welcome back. Law enforcement and other public officials from Alaska will be traveling to Colorado for a symposium on governing and marijuana. At least a dozen public officials will attend the three-day conference that begins January 14th in Lone Tree, a suburb of Denver. Alaska voters in November approved legalizing recreational use of marijuana. Fairbanks Police Department Deputy Chief Brad Johnson says he wants to learn as much as possible from Colorado's experience with legalized pot. The Fairbanks North Star Borough Planning Director plans to join Johnson at the symposium. Governor Bill Walker's spokeswoman Grace Jang says representatives from the Alcoholic Beverage Control Board, the Department of Revenue, the Attorney General's office, and the municipality of Anchorage will also attend.
The amount of oil moving through the Trans-Alaska Pipeline continued to decline this past year. In its annual report, Alaska Pipeline Service Company said that 187.4 million barrels were transported through the line in 2014. That's 7.6 million fewer barrels than were moved in 2013. The pipeline has seen a decline in the throughput since it peaked in 1988. As of 2014, 17 billion barrels of oil had been shipped through the line.
Firefighting students at the University of Alaska Fairbanks are set to be some of the first able to be nationally certified to fight wildland fires anywhere in the country. Students have the opportunity to put what they learned in the classroom to use on the fire line to gain certification to fight that type of wildfire. They're being called the UAF Wildland Firefighting Crew. By springtime, participating students will go on active fires, earn a paycheck, and gain credit toward a firefighting degree. Students interested in the program must have a fire red card, which is the minimum qualification needed to participate in the fire line.
In the past, they've never been able to put that to use in the field fully, so this gives them a chance to go onto active fires and put all of the skills they've been learning in this program to use right there in the field. So digging line, using chainsaws, laying fire on the ground, putting actual fire out, mopping up.
This year marks the celebration of the 20th anniversary of the BP Teachers of Excellence program, and it's time once again to nominate those outstanding teachers. The program was initiated in 1995 by a BP employee who wanted to recognize exceptional teachers around Alaska. Now, 20 years later, this program has grown to recognize teachers all across the state. Now, so far, 622 awards have been given for outstanding effort in and out of the classroom. Over 1,400 nominations are submitted each year. The winner receives $500 and the school receives a $500 grant. However, event coordinator Tara Stevens says the biggest prize is a yearly celebration that takes place in the communities each spring. It's a time for the winners and families to come out and appreciate the exceptional things those educators are doing.
We're really looking for those teachers that go above and beyond. For instance, one of our winners from last year, Lalani Wizenhand, she not only inspired her fourth graders to learn courage and respect, but outside the classroom, she serves as a youth leader, organizes community service projects with the Boy Scouts, and help provide an after-school cross-country ski program for students.
For me, the most important part of it was the fact that my students took the time to unselfishly initiate this nomination for me. And then I got to see in their eyes what it looked like when 3 men walk into the classroom to say, hey, we have an announcement.
Now, anyone, including former students, can nominate a teacher at bpteachers.com, and the deadline for nominations is January 30th.
That's great. All right, well, changing gears now, Joe Cook is up next with a full weekend recap, which includes Nanack hockey and dog mushing results.
And don't miss the new I-5.
Don't
it's
miss
all
it.
coming up next with Joe.
Welcome back, Interior Sports fans. Joe Cook here on a Monday with your weekend recap. The Alaska Nanack hockey team just rolled on Saturday night. After defeating Ferris State 2-1 in a comeback effort on Friday, it wasn't that close in Game 2. Alaska scored 2 goals in the first period. Marcus Bassar got the redirect to find net after Kyle Ruiz fired one on net midway through the first. Garrett Perry will also tap one in after a laser of a shot from Josh Atkinson. In the second period, the freshman link for the backbreakers. Zach Fry to Taylor Munson to give UAF a 3-0 lead going into the third. Alaska continues, scoring 3 times in the third. Nolan Kaiser, he snipes one in from the point. Josh Erickson and Alek Hadukovic combo for a hard-working goal, and Fry gets in on the action, throwing one in over the head of C.J. Mott. A wild goal coming up here. While his teammates were scoring, though, Davis Jones was saving. Jones makes 26 saves as Alaska wins 6-0. UAF is 12-8 and 7-7 in the WCHA. That's good for fourth place. That's 4 shutouts for Jones in his second in 3 games. Jones has allowed just 2 goals in 4 games for the Nooks.
I feel good. The boys have been great in front of me. There's a lot of good blocks, especially tonight. I remember Kaiser had a couple big ones. Fry had a big one in the first period, and the boys have been great, and it's helped me out. And the whole team as a whole has done really well.
We just kept it simple, made that first easy pass, and if we had nothing, got it high and hard off the glass, and that actually created opportunity for us. And we got a couple to go in, and we just kept rolling from there.
After their first GNAC win of the season against Western Washington Thursday, the Natick men's basketball team took on the Clan of Simon Fraser Saturday. The Clan, they came in leading all Division 1, 2, and 3 in scoring, averaging an amazing 125 points per game. They get up and down, and they just jack up shots. And they sub in 5 players every few minutes. But UAF beat the Clan at their own game. Alaska was up 57-46 at the half. Ruben Silvas had 19 in the first half. He finished with a career-high 34 points. Ashton Edwards, he added 23 to lead 6 Nanooks in double figures. Sango Niang scored a game-high 35 points for the Clan. Alaska was on point, shooting 54% for the game, going 12 of 21 from deep, and getting to the charity stripe. The men's team was 39 for 50. The Clan just 13 for 22. UAF wins at track meet 121-111 for their 3rd straight win. It's the most points in a GNAC victory since a 113-105 point win over SPU in March of 2010. Alaska is now 5-7 and 2-2 in the GNAC. The Fairbanks Ice Dogs were able to split their series with the Keystone Ice Miners on Saturday night in Connersville, PA. Fairbanks never trailed in a 3-2 victory. Jacob Hetz, he led the Dogs with 2 first-period goals, while Kevin Aldridge made 32 saves. Fairbanks is 21-11-3 on the year, trailing the Cooley Region Chill by a point in the Midwest standings. The Ice Dogs return to the Big Dipper this weekend to host the Kenai River Brown Bears in the Raven Alaska Cup Series. Fairbanks leads that series 3-1. The Ice Dogs' last home game was back on November 22nd, so it's been a long time. There were a couple of dog mushing events to start the dog sled racing season. Yukon Quest and Iditarod veteran Brent Sass won the Gin 200 coming into Myers Lake at 1:12 a.m. Sunday morning. He topped 37 mushers in the race. Matt Hall was second. Sass only had a 3-minute edge midway through the race before winning by 20 minutes over Hall. Paul Gebhardt, Tom Lasatz, and Paige Dromney round out the top 5. Will Rhodes, he won by 11 minutes over Lance Mackey to take the Solstice 50-100 race. Mackey led by 2 minutes at the halfway point. Shani Traska finished 3rd in the 13-musher field, and Ali Zirkle was the only musher to run the 50-mile portion, and she finished in 5 hours and 28 minutes. It's back to the I-5, the interior top 5 plays. Let's see the first I-5 of 2015.
Starting at number 5, look quickly. Tyler Morley wins the face-off, and booyah! Nolan Kaiser snipes one from distance for the goal, one of 6 Alaska goals from Saturday. More from this game in a bit. Number 4, Ruben Silvas. You might as well call him Butter because he was on a roll. A career-high 34 points as the Nanooks men's basketball team wins big 121-111 over Simon Fraser for their 3rd straight win on Saturday. At number 3, check out this goal from Alaska's 2-1 win on Friday night over the Fair State Bulldogs. Taylor Munson with the spinorama and the assist to Peter Krieger for the game-winning goal. Just filthy. And number 2, UAF freshman Darren Mainville finishes after the nice high-low pass from Stephanie Tombson. Mainville goes off for a career-high 22 points and 10 boards in UAF's 82-76 win over Central. The Nanas get 10 wins for the first time since 2007. At number 1, sophomore netminder Davis Jones was cooler than the other side of the pillow on Saturday night. Jones made 26 saves in a 6-0 victory over the Bulldogs. The Nanooks sweep, and Jones earns his 4th shutout of the year. To vote for the Play of the Week, click on your play on the I-5 poll on Webster11.com. You can also comment on the KTVF Facebook and YouTube posts, and send a tweet to KTVF11 Sports on Twitter for your vote. The Play of the Week will be revealed this Friday.
The I-5 Sports Report is brought to you by Adient Orthopedic Physical Therapy.
And that's it for sports. Mike Schultz is next with your full weather forecast, and we'll catch you next time.
Hey everyone, welcome back into the Fairbanks Evening News. Mike Schultz with you once again. I hope you had a good weekend. I know it was cold, coldest temperatures of the year. The good news is it's moving out of the picture. We should be looking at warmer temperatures by Thursday at the latest, and by this weekend we'll be definitely in the plus figures. We'll tell you more about that in just a little bit. Our photograph night sent in by Kenneth Happ. A beautiful sunrise from Murphy Dome. There's the city down there on the horizon, and as you can see, the colors are once again really nicely done. As always, if you have a photograph to share, by all means send it to us at photos@ktvf11.com. We'll share it with the rest of the audience. Here's your numbers right now: 27 below currently, after a high of 22 below. The record low, 33, actually 57 below in 1975. The record high, 33 in 1960. Got down to 30 below overnight last night. Sunrise and sunset, 4 hours and 21 minutes, a gain of 4 minutes from yesterday. And we have an air quality problem once again going on. The Fairbanks area is in unhealthy conditions, but very unhealthy in North Pole. So if you have any respiratory problems or young children, you might want to definitely keep them out for another day or so. This is good until 5 o'clock tomorrow night. Here's what's going on in our satellite picture. Everything is clear. High pressure really dominating the entire weather scene here. Everything being pushed back across southeast Alaska, where they're getting ready for a lot of wind, and they've had mixed rain and snow today across the Juneau area. Over the rest of the state, it looks like this. 31 degrees, raining at Ketchikan. We have a nice weather at Anchorage, but a chilly 10-degree reading there. 38, some showers at Kodiak. Up and down the west coast, not too bad in the single digits. Even at Barrow, 8 degrees for the high temperature. That's above, too. But in contrast, 40 below currently in Fort Yukon. Wow, what a change in temperature. And difference in altitude too. Here's what's going on across the lower 48. Not too, I mean, actually pretty quiet up and down the west coast. A little more cloudiness across the Seattle area. Denver up to 55 degrees. Dallas at 46. 1 degree at Minneapolis. They had a wind chill factor of 25 below at one time earlier today. And some snow falling across the northeast. On our satellite radar, look at the pink. That's all indicating the frozen precipitation all the way across the Great Lakes, over to the south, not too bad. And the Pacific Northwest, a little more shower activity starting to move into the Seattle area. You got to keep an eye on that. The overall picture is calling for our cold air to transition to the east and then just slide down on this jet stream all the way across the eastern half of the country, giving those folks some really cold temperatures. They're probably their coldest of the year. And the jet stream later on this week will rise over the western half of the country, then drop back across the Great Lakes and over the northeast with chilly conditions as far south as the Florida Peninsula. How about that? All right, back to Alaska for tomorrow. For the northern sections, occasional flurries for Barrow, scattered flurries for Nome, but clear and cold in the Fort Yukon area, and 28 below for their high tomorrow. Here in the interior, clear skies will continue across the region. You may see a little bit of morning ice fog, and after that, things burn off pretty quickly, and we'll have lots of sunshine. And as far as the southeastern sections, windy in Juneau with snow or freezing rain possible for the Ketchikan area. Drizzle, but freezing rain also possible in the Juneau area too. Mostly sunny skies for Cold Bay and Kodiak, decreasing clouds for Bethel, and over the south central regions, looking at, for the most part, sunny skies across the region with a high in Anchorage about 14 degrees. One more day of weather facts for you until the kids come back tomorrow. And tonight's weather fact: in 1982, San Francisco, California, in a 3-day period, had 25 inches of rain. That's a lot of rain. I used to live there. That is a lot of rainfall in a 3-day period. And as always, thanks to Mount McKinley Bank. And like I said, tomorrow the kids will be with us once again from Pearl Creek Elementary School. All right, here's your forecast for the remainder of the night. 29 below, a little ice fog, otherwise clear and frigid, warmer in the higher elevations. We have an inversion going on, obviously, with our air quality alert. 15 below for the high tomorrow, not nearly as cold as today, but still pretty chilly. And as far as the extended forecast, here's where the good news starts coming in. Single digits to teens above by the weekend, with overnight lows also rising to the single digits above zero, and maybe even some snow back in the picture for Sunday for the first part of next week. But the cold temperatures will continue. Dress appropriately and make sure you don't get stuck out there into that cold, freezing air.
Yeah, I was talking to Alaska hockey head coach Dallas Ferguson after practice today, and he was like, man, just when we thought we could have a warm winter.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I left and I come back to this.
And you brought the cold, thank you.
I did. Achoo.
It's kind of a coinkydink. Yeah, absolutely.
Get it?
Yeah, I get it. You.
Well, welcome back.
Thank you. It was great. And I went to Florida to Disney World, so I got to
Florida.
see all the princesses with my kids. And
Oh, nice. So were you just as giddy as they were?
Oh, I of course was, but only for the Harry Potter parks because I secretly am a Harry Potter nerd. So I'll own it. It's fine. I was casting spells left and right. I even got to visit the Daily Prophet.
Very cool.
Don't talk English. Don't talk English.
No. That will wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. We're glad you could join us.
Tonight on NBC Nightly News. No, really, seriously. NBC Nightly News with Brian Williams is coming up next.
Yeah. All right. You can join us here 6 days a week at 6 and 11 or online anytime at webcenter11.com.
And from all of us
at the
all
News
of us back
Center,
in the center, right.
have a great night.
Good night.